So our full district-wide staff returned on Monday, March 8th, and we had about a week's worth, it was actually 6 work days technically, of having them on site, finalizing their preparations for the start of what we called our Phase 3 reopening plan. And that was when we finally brought back about a third of our student population. So District 158 has been fully remote for students since March 17th of 2020, back when the governor first initiated his mandatory school closure because of the COVID-19 health pandemic. And so during that time, initially the staff were remote, then we transitioned staff back over the summer for a virtual summer school. Started the school year that way, and our staff were able to complete some training, they did an excellent job in terms of their team collaboration, really learning Microsoft Teams, learning the online components, Seesaw, and various things. And then around mid-November, we ended up transitioning them back home because of the escalating COVID-19 numbers. So then they stayed fully remote with some on-site presence here and there through the beginning of March, and that's when we transitioned the staff back. Staff were back for about a week, and then the kids returned last week, Tuesday, March 16th. So the vaccination and with the state's rollout, educators were part of Phase 1B, and medical personnel were part of Phase 1A. So we had some district nurses and school nurses that ended up getting vaccinated right away. And I'd like to give kudos to Elise Ramos, who's at Oak Glen, and Carmen Berry, who's at Memorial, who are 2 of our school nurses who have been helping out at the vaccination site at TF South. And they were very quick to step up and help. I know we've got one of our police officers over there, Detective Bell, has been helping out, but our nurses as well to kind of learn those procedures and make sure the vaccines have been rolled out to local educators. And so after Phase 1A was completed, I know the District 215 high school staff had a chance to get vaccinated over there, and then they opened it up to all of their feeder school districts, including 158. And we were very fortunate then. We've been putting information out on a daily basis. Between that, the Tinley Park site, there's a couple other ones. And we do have a good portion of our staff have been vaccinated at this point. It's not something that we're requiring, but it is something that we are highly encouraging. So our goal is to finish out the school year in at least Phase 3, which is kind of a hybrid model. Our kids come to school between 8:45 and 11:15 on site, and then the afternoon is fully virtual. We may end the school year that way. Who knows? Maybe the governor will move us to Phase 5 of the Restore Illinois plan, and that might create some mechanisms where we could bring back more kids. And as maybe you've heard, the social distancing requirements are starting to get relaxed a bit for staff that have received all of their vaccinations. So there's some mechanisms where we can keep getting more and more kids back into school. We're planning to run a double session, an extended summer school. And we're hoping to run a session in June and then another session in July to help kids get caught up academically. Also to help kids just come in, socialize with their peers, and get re-engaged with the physical school environment. And then our hope is, obviously this depends on the status of the pandemic, this depends on the status of the vaccinations, the availability of the vaccinations to the larger public, which we're not quite certain where that is yet. But we would certainly hope that we can try to reopen our schools under normal or near normal circumstances, was what we call our Phase 4, as close as possible in August of next year. It is amazing to see teachers and students and staff reconnect in a way that people have been longing for. Pretty much ever since the vaccines started rolling out, we started getting lower positivity rates. I know over winter break, some of the positivity rates were climbing as high as 13.5%. I know just up the road in Cal City, they were over 14% at one point. But now that we've kind of centered hopefully around in kind of the 3 to 6% range, obviously vaccines are rolling out more and more on a daily basis. The kids absolutely love being back in school. And the nice thing is, at this point, about 31% of our student population has returned to our buildings, but every day we are adding more kids because students are going home, they're talking to their parents, they're talking to their friends, and they're talking about how much they like being back in the buildings. They like the life of the school, and they want to be back, and they are encouraging their friends to do so. So we are absolutely looking forward to welcoming as many kids as we can safely right now, and continue to move more and more towards that healthy, normal reopening.